Have you ever completely trusted something? Your phone, your GPS, that little blue dot that tells you exactly where you are in the world. We've handed our sense of direction over to satellites and algorithms. We don't question them. We don't need to. But what happens when the machine shows you a road that doesn't exist? A road that leads somewhere with no record on any map. Today's story came from a woman named Clara Vance. She was an accountant, practical, logical, the kind of person who double-checks receipts and plans routes 3 days in advance. She took a wrong turn one October night. Or rather, the road took her. Let's open the file. But remember, some mysteries are better left unsolved. Clara Vance had driven this route hundreds of times. Every Thursday evening, she made the hour-and-a-half drive from her office in Cedar Falls to her mother's house in Whitmore. Same highway, same exits, same faded billboard advertising a diner that closed back in 2015. She could have driven it with her eyes closed. But on October 14th, something was different. It started with the GPS. 15 miles outside Whitmore, the device spoke in its usual flat tone. In 1 mile, turn right onto County Road 41. Clara's fingers tightened on the wheel. There was no County Road 41 on this stretch. She knew every turn, every intersection. The only right turn for the next 8 miles was Peterson Lane, and that was still 6 miles out. She glanced at the screen. A thin grey line branched off the highway, a road she'd never noticed before. Clara slows down, peering through the windshield. And there it is, a narrow road cutting through the fields. No sign, no markings, just a strip of asphalt disappearing into the gathering dusk. She almost laughed. A glitch, obviously. GPS systems sometimes pick up phantom roads, old trails that got paved over, or planned routes that never got built. She drove past it. Clara ignored it. She knew where she was going. But as she continued down the familiar highway, something felt off. The road seemed longer than usual. Road signs weren't appearing where they should. The faded billboard, the one with the closed diner, should have been 3 minutes behind her by now. She checked the odometer. She'd driven 12 miles since that unmarked turn. Whitmore should be visible by now. The town's water tower always appeared on the horizon at this point, a pale blue cylinder against the darkening sky. Tonight, there was nothing, just flat, endless fields. Clara pulled over onto the shoulder. She needed to think. Her phone showed no service, normal for this rural stretch. But the GPS was still working, its screen glowing in the darkness. According to the map, she was exactly where she should be. The blue dot pulsed calmly on the highway just 4 miles from Whitmore. But when she looked up, nothing was familiar. The fields were gone. Dense trees pressed close to the road on both sides, trees that had no business being here. This was farmland, open prairie. There hadn't been forests in this county for 100 years. Clara stares through the windshield, her breathing shallow. She turned the car around. Logical choice. Retrace her path, find the highway, start over. Simple. She drove for 10 minutes, then 20. The unmarked road never appeared. Neither did the highway she'd turned off from. The road just continued, a straight, featureless line through forest that grew denser with every passing mile. The dashboard clock reads 7:47 p.m. Clara's knuckles are white on the steering wheel. At 7:52 p.m., Clara saw the first sign of civilization. Around a gentle curve, a gas station appeared, an old-fashioned place with 2 pumps and a small convenience store. Warm light spilled from the windows. A neon open sign flickered cheerful pink. Relief washed over her. She pulled in, parked, and stepped out into the cool night air. The smell of autumn leaves and distant rain. Everything normal. Solid ground beneath her feet. The store's door chimed when she entered. A small, clean space. Fluorescent lights humming softly. Snacks and travel supplies on the shelves. Behind the counter stood an elderly man, maybe 60, with a weathered face and kind eyes. "Evening," the attendant said. His voice was warm, unhurried. Clara approached the counter, trying to keep her voice steady. "I think I'm lost. I'm trying to get to Whitmore, but my GPS sent me down some county road, and now I can't find the highway." The man nodded slowly, as if this wasn't unusual. "Whitmore," he repeated. "That's about 40 miles east of here." Clara blinks, confused. 40 miles. That's impossible. I turned off 15 minutes from there. The attendant smiled, not unkindly, but with an expression Clara couldn't quite read. "Roads around here can be tricky, easy to get turned around." He pulled out a paper map, the kind Clara hadn't seen in years, and spread it on the counter. His finger traced a route. "You'll want to head back the way you came. About 6 miles, you'll see a fork. Take the left. That'll bring you back to Route 18. Clara studied the map carefully. Everything looked right. Towns were in their proper places. Highways matched her memory. But something bothered her. "I don't remember any fork," she said. The attendant folded the map and handed it to her. "You'll seek it this time." Clara walks back to her car. She pauses, glancing back at the gas station. Through the window, the attendant hasn't moved. He's watching her. She sat in the car for a long moment before starting the engine. Something was wrong. She could feel it in her chest, a tightness that had nothing to do with being lost. She looked at the paper map. It was old. The paper yellowed, the creases soft with age. In the corner was a date, 1987. But that was impossible. The map showed Route 18, a highway that wasn't built until 2003. Clara looks back at the gas station. The neon sign flickers. The word open switches to closed for just a moment, then back again. She drove. The road unspooled before her, featureless and dark. Her headlights illuminated only asphalt and trees. 6 miles, the attendant said. Take the left at the fork. Exactly 6 miles later, she saw it. Not a fork, an intersection. 4 roads, converging at right angles. At the center stood a signpost, old, wooden, weathered to gray. 4 arrows pointing in 4 directions. Each arrow bore the same word, Whitmore. Clara stops the car in the middle of the intersection. She stares at the sign, her face pale in the dashboard light. Clara sat motionless, her thoughts racing. This couldn't be real. 4 roads can't all lead to the same place. She pulled out her phone. Still no service. But the camera worked. She took a photo of the sign. Later, much later, she would look at that photo. The signpost would be blank. 4 arrows, pointing nowhere. Not a single word. Clara's breathing quickens. She grips the wheel, forcing herself to think. She chose left. No particular reason. Left felt right. The road curved gently. The trees began to thin. And finally, she saw lights in the distance. A town, streets, buildings. She pressed the gas. Clara's car rolled slowly through quiet streets. Modest homes, well-kept lawns, streetlights casting pools of amber light. The town was small, even smaller than Whitmore, but it was real, normal. A sign hung on the main street, Welcome to Millbrook, founded 1892. Millbrook. Clara had never heard of it. Classic small-town diner, red vinyl booths, black and white checkered floor. "What can I get you, hun?" Clara ordered coffee. Her own voice sounded strange, too high, too tight. "I'm trying to get to Whitmore," she said. "Can you tell me how far that is?" The waitress froze, just for a moment, then smiled. "Whitmore? Sure. That's about 40 miles east." "For 40 miles." The same answer the gas station attendant gave. "How is that possible?" Clara asked. "I was almost there, 15 minutes away." The waitress poured coffee. Her expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. "Roads around here can be funny. Easy to get turned around." Clara stares at the waitress. The same words, the same phrasing. "The man at the gas station," Clara said slowly. "He said the exact same thing, word for word." The waitress set down the coffee pot. "What gas station?" Clara's chest tightened. "On that road, about 6 miles back. Old place, 2 pumps." The waitress shook her head. There's no gas station on that road. Hasn't been for 30 years. Old Kellerman station burned down in 94. Clara didn't finish the coffee. She left money on the counter and walked out into the night. She got in the car, started the engine, and noticed something she hadn't seen before. On the passenger seat lay the paper map, the one the gas station attendant had given her. She hadn't taken it with her. But there it was. And now, in the dim dome light, she saw something else. Someone had written on the map, in neat, old-fashioned handwriting in the margin, "You shouldn't have stopped." Clara drove. She followed the waitress's directions, east toward Whitmore. She didn't stop. And finally, Whitmore's pale blue water tower. She pulled into her mother's driveway at 11:47 p.m. The drive should have taken an hour and a half. 6 hours. 6 hours on a road she'd driven hundreds of times. Clara sits at the kitchen table. An elderly woman, her mother, sets a cup of tea in front of her. Her mother didn't ask questions, not at first. "You look pale," she said. "Tired." But the map was real. The paper map sat on the passenger seat. Or it had. When she checked the next morning, the car was empty. The map was gone. The next day she drove the same route. In daylight, everything was normal. The unmarked road, County Road 41, was nowhere to be found. She checked the GPS. It showed the same route as always. She drove to where she'd seen the gas station. Nothing was there. Just an empty field, overgrown with weeds. A barely visible crumbled foundation. Clara drove back to Whitmore the following Thursday. Same time, same route. Nothing happened. The road was just a road, but something had changed. At night, she lay awake thinking about the intersection. 4 arrows, all pointing to Whitmore, a direction that shouldn't exist. She thought about the gas station attendant. His kind eyes, weathered face. Did he know? Was he trying to help her? Or was he something else entirely? 3 weeks later, Clara found something in her coat pocket. A folded piece of paper. Old. Yellowed. She unfolded it with trembling hands. It was a fragment of the map. Just a small piece. County Road 41. And written in that same neat handwriting, "It's still there when you're ready." Clara never drove that road again. But sometimes, late at night, when she's coming home from her mother's, she swears she sees something in the rearview mirror. A turn she doesn't remember. A thin, grey line, barely visible in the darkness. A waiting road that's on no map. Subscribe for more mysteries from the files.